Walking the Boulevard in Bethel, Vermont. The Boulevard is this little 3 mile walk that goes up by my house, up the hill by the sand pit, around back by the river, and back through town. It starts off on the sort of paved road, goes through the woods, around the corner. And sometimes I used to do it with Ola, my landlady, or Greg, when we used to walk around here. And sometimes I stop by and see if my friend Chris is around. He lives in this cute yellow house, and he usually leaves the door open if he's going to be home. But today I didn't see him. He's fun to walk with because he'll tell stories both about Bethel in the 60s and 70s when he was first visiting there, as well as stories from like New York City in the 40s and 50s when he used to live there, and the stories are always pretty interesting. He's deaf in one ear, and so you got to make sure you stand on the proper side of him, and talks a little loud, but it's one of the great things about going for a walk outdoors is that you can yell as loud as you want. Nobody really cares. There's a couple farms that are down the back. These people have a really big field that seems like it's got some horses in it. Down this way is where the river comes through again. All the water's really high in town because there's been a whole bunch of snow, and there's been a whole bunch of melt, and there's been a whole bunch of rain, and so you can hear the river before you can even see it, and it's just going whoosh, 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 way down. It's most of the way along this walk. You get this little creek, and then later on there's another sort of bigger river, the third branch of the White River, which is in town. This part of the walk is through what they call a cold holler. It doesn't get a lot of sun, and you can still see that there's snow on the side of the road that hasn't melted yet, and it's the dirtiest, nastiest, messiest looking snow, and you just want it to go away, and you feel bad for it because there's really not much to be done with it. It overhangs in these shelves over the river because the river keeps it cool, and it's almost gone. It's been 60, 70 during the day. It's almost gone. The Longmeadow Farm is right on the corner. There's this beautiful square house and this red barn, and they've got some little sheds around back, and the creek goes right in front of their house. And you can sort of see down. If you go that way, you go out towards Gaysville, and then if you come around this way, you see all of their farmland, and you can kind of see Route 107 that goes out to Rutland, which is the way that I used to go to work. So that was Sand Hill Road, and the back road is Peavine. I don't even know what it is. Sometimes you can see little animals out here. There's a little white cat that stays at the farm, and we call it the ghost cat. Whenever you see it, it just looks like an imaginary animal sitting there watching you. There's really not that many people back out here. Sometimes people are walking their dogs, and sometimes people are driving their cars, but today it looked like it was going to be a little rainy, and so nobody came out. So it's a nice day for a peaceful walk down the back road. I didn't get it on this little movie, but I saw the biggest bird I've ever seen in these trees. It made some crazy noise. It had this giant wingspan. It looked like it could pick up a baby and fly away with it. I have no idea what it is, and I don't have any pictures of it at all. But the back road just goes straight, and then it picks up the river. And there's a little kayak put in that's a little bit further down, and trees on both sides. This is sort of a little tunnel that goes through until you get to the park through the other side. And the river, you can't really tell because you don't know what this looks like normal, but the river's really high. I don't know if it's the good news or the bad news this time of year, but there's a lot more water than there usually is. And people like to go shoot out by the sand pit. It's a little disconcerting. And then this is a little park called Peavine Park. It's where the Peavine Railroad used to go. Now we have a brew pub called the Peavine something or other. But this is the best place to go sit by the river. And in the summertime, I just come and bring a chair, park it down here. There's almost never anybody down here, and you can just read and listen to the river. There's some mergansers in the back here, but you can't get them on my little teeny tiny camera. But it's a sand dune, sort of, and there's a picnic table and a little gazebo and the one-lane bridge, which is always a little touch and go this time of year. Kind of depends who's around. I can see the gazebo there. Great place for a picnic. And here's the one-lane bridge. I saw some kid peel out and left a burn mark on the wood that's still there today, though I don't think you can see it too much. This'll hold one car, and it won't even hold one car and one pedestrian. It's just one car, so you gotta kind of look both ways when you're walking across the bridge, because kids like to kind of zip through there and, oh look, somebody's been shooting at the sign. What a surprise. This is Dean's Auto Body, and if you wonder why there aren't more political people with Dean license plates, it's because Dean has them all. Coming around the back, you can kind of see the organic, the grain silos for the organic grain company, which I think took what was an old feed silo, something the train goes through the back here, and now they run some sort of organic feed thing. This is the shortcut. Greg always called it the long cut, but that's because he's a lawyer. This way you don't have to go underneath the train bridge, you don't have to go at this dodgy intersection where you're always convinced people are going to run you over. Well, if you're me. And it's another one of those neat little hallway kind of things with the trees on both sides. These are all the train lines. Bethel used to have a train station, and now it's got a brew pub, or just a bar, I guess, towny bar called the Depot in the old Depot building. And the train still comes through once a day or twice, once up and once down, but it doesn't stop anymore. Chris tells all sorts of stories about the crazy old hotel and how he used to come in from New York City. And that's the library. I think it might even be open this morning. It's open 14 hours a week. But I think they leave the wireless on 24/7, so you can still park outside and get on the internet if you don't have internet at home. That building was for sale for quite some time, but I think someone finally bought it. This is walking through town. Pizza store, also for sale. If you want to run your own pizza factory, you can. I think one of the neat things about having a business there is the river and the waterfall right behind you. And it's sort of amazing. This is what the waterfall looks like from the front, looking at it. I'm standing next to some sign that says no trespassing, and I'm not quite sure exactly what that means. And that's where the train goes over the river. And this is from the new bridge. You can tell it used to be an old mill town. And once again, water's really high. I don't even see beaver tracks or anything on the side of the water here. Bridge is brand new. We saw them laying the really large I-beams. There's one of the churches on Church Street where I live, and you keep going, on the other side of the road is the other church on Church Street. They have this fantastic rummage sale that I went to, and I got myself a $3 espresso maker. That's where Louise lives. That's where Wayne and Jill live, and their new son. And the road work ends right at my driveway. And so this is my house where I live in Bethel, in the old Victorian place. And there's a front door and a back door on the porch, but you gotta know to come in the last door, the one on the side, and it's the one that's pretty much always open and leading itself right into my kitchen.